Canada's going to start tracking temporary residents leaving Canada. Why? Because the government has no idea of how many of them are currently in the country.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's so weird. Again, sometimes there's things that you should claim of like, hey, yeah, like this is, and other times it's like, you probably shouldn't even say that. But like they're saying over 150,000 students just over 2 years thought to have breached their permits, and there was only enough resources to investigate 4,000 cases.
Welcome to the Canadian Mortgage Show. Here are mortgage professionals Alex Pang and Alex Shanks to cut through the BS and educate Canadians on all things mortgages and real estate.
Welcome to episode 87 of the Canadian Mortgage Show. Alex Pang here alongside Alex Shanks. Now, before we begin, just want to make sure that you hit that follow and subscribe button on Spotify and YouTube. We are officially over 100 on YouTube, Alex.
Yes. Nice job. You made it happen. And I mean, it's hard to ask for help, but hey, everyone does it. And so like, we're not doing this because we want to keep growing for all you that way. And so as you can see, Alex even's fumbling on asking because it just feels weird. It's like such a weird thing to be like, hey, but again, we're doing it because we want to keep supporting more people. And I mean, what are we going to do for episode 100, Alex?
I don't know, man. It's coming up pretty quick. I mean, that's like 13 weeks away. That's what, 3 months away. So that'll take us to like August-ish. But yeah, I mean, we are over 100. We're at 107.
You will have the podcast on the boat, on my new boat.
Maybe. Oh, that means I need to go to the island, or unless you bring the boat down to the.
No, I definitely that would cost way too much on the ferry. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. But anyways, we're currently sitting at 107 now on YouTube. Thank you so much for the support. I mean, we're not done there. I mean, our next milestone, we want to get to 250, 500, 1,000, but let's just keep pushing. Again, thank you for the support. Now, Alex, you had a good week as a Leafs fan. You guys won the lottery
over there now. Oh no. I mean, I know you're pissed. Like, how the hell is like they had what the Leafs had an 8% chance at it. I mean, the Canucks pretty much were tanking. It was like, oh, they're gonna win. And I mean, it's awesome. I'm excited. I mean, we've gotten like some great, any of their first round picks have been pretty awesome in history, but I don't know. I'm just I'm not feeling the Leafs right now. I'm I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm in a real low spot with them right now.
Well,
This doesn't excite me all that much.
I mean, the fact that they hired John Chaika, and I mean, Matt's indeed, he's a figurehead and everything. And John Chaika, he's been out of hockey for 6 years, or out of the NHL. His last foray with the Phoenix or Arizona Coyotes was laden with controversy. You got penalized for going outside the rules, testing players outside of the guidelines, and doing all this, and the team was penalized and everything. And then, while he was being investigated, he just resigned. So, I mean, like, all right, well, I'm not a Leafs fan. I'm like, is that the best you can find out there?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just there. It's again, I don't know. Like to me, I would probably just be like, it's great win that first round. I probably would trade that for more picks, to be honest. Like that's probably their best bet, or they need to trade Austin Matthews and start rebuild today. Like that.
Yeah.
I don't really see any other path here.
As a non-Leafs fan, I can see how this was playing out, like how the Canucks were this past year, where it was win for Quinn to keep. And I think this might be the same thing for the Leafs. It's kind of going maybe all in this year to try to, keep Austin Matthews. So, and this year is not really a deep draft. And like the players are good, but they're not generational. They're not the Celebrinis, the McDavids, the Matthews kind of generational. They're good players, but so if the fact that Leafs got number one, this is the year to do it. So I don't feel all that bad. I mean, as a long-suffering Canucks fan, I've already kind of resigned to dropping to number 3. So, and the fact that San Jose moved up to number 2, they actually need a defenseman. So I'm like, oh, hey, we might actually get Stenberg, or I don't know, McKenna, or I don't know, but we'll see. But I know that Canucks are high on Caleb Malhotra. I mean, we'll see about that. I mean,
the Leafs even said like, oh, we actually have to start looking at people because they had no expectation to be up there this high. So now they're like, oh, we actually have to start scouting these people.
Yeah. So the next month or so is going to be lots of speculation of like, oh, hey, San Jose is in win now mode. Are they willing to trade number 2? And even if they draft like Chase Reed or something, he's not ready to play this next season. They might, I don't know. We'll see. There's
Well, I mean, even that again, even like Nathan, like McKinnon, like it's like there's no one that is going to be sensational the first year. I mean, even Bernard, it took 3 years for him to become. Celebrini took 2 years. Like Austin Matthews took 2 years. Like no one like them getting the first round picks is not like, oh, awesome, they're gonna win the Stanley Cup next year.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to correct you there. Austin Matthews scored 40 goals in his rookie season, so and he scored 4 goals his first game in the NHL.
Yeah, that's no. Yeah, I don't think he scored 40 goals in his first year.
Maybe, but I know he scored
He
4 goals.
He definitely scored 4 goals the first game, which is, I mean, hey, that's great. But like it was again, it's not like like compared to what he's done now. And that's where different. Like you could draft a quarterback in the NFL and they can start like instantly, and they may be able to change the game. It's just not going to happen. That
Well, I mean, the nature of the NHL is a little different because we're drafting 18-year-olds, right? In some cases, 17. And so we're kind of projecting out. It's very rare for players to make an instant impact, like, other than McDavid and Nathan McKinnon and all that stuff. But yeah, whereas in the NFL, you're drafting young players at 21, 22 who are more pro ready, right? So it's a little different. So, I mean, we got a pretty big show.
I mean, we had to miss some of this. It's kind of not old news, but I mean, it's big news, especially for BC and short-term rentals and Airbnb. And Kelowna's been granted an exemption from the province's short-term rental regulations. A lot of people are obviously cheering for this, and I mean, their tourism industry was like dying. And again, pre-sale, sales, all that stuff. There wasn't that many hotels there, and prices there were soaring. Like it did not help anything. There was already enough supply actually coming on the market that it brought more stuff, rentals, and maybe rental prices came down. But again, is that because of Airbnb? I don't know if that's the only thing. Is it we stopped all the immigration coming into Canada as well? There was also more supply coming. Like I would not be able to say for certainty, was it because that they did this Airbnb ban that rentals came down? I don't know if that is the reason.
Yeah, I mean, Kelowna has long been known as a tourist town. And the fact that, the province had the sweeping regulations for the short-term rental ban, it essentially killed Kelowna's tourism industry. They said, I mean, I've said it on the pod too, or they chose their own residents versus their tourism. In retrospect, choosing your own residents also means, a lot of them are working in the tourist hospitality sector too. So it's robbing Peter to pay Paul, but you're still hurting Paul and all that stuff. I mean, this is long overdue. Glad that's happened. I mean, you're right. Like, there's not that many hotels, and the ones that were freaking jacking up rates at, like, I think the only one I know of is the Coast Capri in Kelowna. Not that many others, because like hotel rates are so expensive. I mean, why go into Kelowna?
I mean, even Vancouver, when this happened, it's not like the hotels were like, oh, we're going to start giving people discounts. It's like, no, hey, awesome, we're going to jack our prices up.
Exactly. Supply and demand. Now, I am interested to see if there's going to be any reprieve for the FIFA World Cup, because I know maybe is it the government or the FIFA were encouraging people to rent. I'm like, well, let's see if the government's on board on that one. So
Yeah,
we'll see about that one. I mean, following along the BC thing, we've long talked about the whole First Nations and DRIPA and the whole Cowichan thing. Now, BC Premier David Eby and First Nations leaders formally announced that DRIPA will not be amended or suspended this spring. Now, we've documented that Eby has been flip-flopping back and forth, and because of the public outcry of what's been happening, he said, we're going to try to repeal it. Well, I'm sure the First Nations leaders got to him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to do it." So he's basically a dead man walking. Like, he's not going to be reelected, or he might not stay his whole term.
I mean, I hear old people complaining about NDP now, which is like, that's like, ooh, that's not a good thing. When you hear like their longtime supporters, it's like, ooh, you guys have an issue now.
Yeah, he's been kind of running our province to the ground, and I mean, along with this report, both parties are going to work on a solution before the fall legislative session. This honestly has been a shit show since the beginning. Like, we've been talking about it in our industry. Everyone's talking about it. It's kind of looming over us. We don't have any guidance until then. It's still just business as usual. except for that Richmond area. I mean, my goodness, they're going to have a hard, like people are stuck with their, like they can't sell. No one's going to buy. I mean,
And I find like it's more in the Vancouver area, really what's like been tightened up is more private lenders. And like they're really cutting back. And I mean values of like development properties have dropped in some cases like $1 million. And that is, I think, the fear for people of like, well, what's gonna happen again if these lands aren't owned by us? And we've talked about it before. Well, is there gonna be 5 casinos on the street? Well, that will bring the price of the home down in that area, the development and stuff. And so again, it's just uncertainty. I mean, I feel like we've been talking about this since like, I mean, back when the election was with Mark Carney and Pierre and stuff. Is like, oh, we'll finally have some certainty. We'll finally know what we're doing for the next 4 years. Everything just we're still in uncertain times.
segue into the next bit here. Now the federal government, they've approved Enbridge, a $4 billion Sunrise project here in BC to expand the West Coast natural gas pipeline system. Now, you're going to see the graph here on the graphic here. The project includes the addition of about 139 kilometers of new pipeline by constructing 11 pipeline looping segments parallel to the existing line. Now, this adds up to 300 million, I don't know what this unit is, CFD of transportation capacity. Now, it creates 2,500 jobs, adds $3 billion to Canada's GDP. And this is not just an MOU, Alex. We talked about this.
No, but that's like, again, those 2,500 jobs. This is not like, hey, this is going to be for 4 to 5 years. Yeah, maybe, but these are not 2,500 jobs. These are not like full-time jobs. This is for construction. And then, I mean, if you probably looked in the grand scheme of things, maybe 100 full-time jobs would actually be pretty creative for this.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, it's a great, I think it's awesome. And again, it's easier. Like what we should be doing is already going on areas that already have pipelines. We should just be expanding on the ones that we already have.
Yeah. But the good news is it's not just an MOU. Construction starts this summer. So they're actually putting shovels to the ground and doing something. So I commend the federal government and this Enbridge project in BC expanding here. So if you look at the map here, yeah, they're expanding up the north there and parallel pipelines. This is good news. So now
these are all, I spent many times working on all that pipeline all along there back in the day there, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. So, I mean, behind the scenes of this news, behind this Enbridge expansion news is the First Nations involvement. So 36 First Nations got 12.5% stake in this West Coast pipeline system last year. Now, with the first federal Indigenous loan guarantee to actually help pave the way for this. So there's actually a partnership, not only with the federal government, but with the First Nations bands. So that's a good thing. I mean, it's good to be reminded that there are pathways for mutual benefit. It's not like, hey, it's the government or the First Nations and they're just fighting back and forth, nothing ever happening, but they're actually partnering with this and, definitely commending for that. This is a major announcement. And I mean, Indigenous ownership, they own about 5,000 kilometers of pipeline in Canada. So that's a good thing. Now, a big win is if you can get a pipeline through Quebec.
Yeah.
So that would highlight of his Carney's I was going to say presidency, but his prime ministership. If he can get through to Quebec somehow, I know like federally you can override the province's wishes, but that ain't going to be easy. You can see like protests and blockades happening. Yeah. Sure, it could happen, but it could get ugly that way.
And that's again, like this is like, I'm fine with this type of stuff, having them be a part of it and everything. They're for the Trans Mountain, like they don't have any ownership in that one, but they were contracted, every single contractor, and it's every single part a segment. Like if you look on there, you can see segment C, B. Each different contractors will have segments, and what happens is the Indigenous bands will work together with those contractors. It might be Kiewit Construction with Squamish First Nations. And again, they bring in the Indigenous people as well, which I think is really good, training them. And ideally it's teaching them and wanting them to work. Hardest thing, and this is with Indigenous type of workers and those areas, they'll come out for 2 weeks, get their money, and they'll leave right away. Maybe they'll come back in 3 months later, and it's sad. There's some really hard workers out there, and like they destroy it. Like they get so far ahead in life because they have the chance for it. And I applaud the people that actually use what they can.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, I can totally see on this pipeline, it crosses over like we said, what, 36 First Nations band. You have to it's almost like a land assembly where
You
you
have to
need
get everyone to
every
agree. Yeah.
single band to agree, and maybe one band is holding out for more, but other bands agree and they're like, okay, well, let's have equal. If there's this, then we've got to divide this by, whatever, and everyone gets
Well,
a
that,
piece.
that even happens when like the pipelines have to go through, like if they go through me, my and your property, like sometimes that will happen is one person will be like, no, I ain't moving. And then the neighbors will be like, hey, we really want our money from this. So like, hey, come on, like let them come through the pipe, come through your property.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, I'm like, is why is Quebec not wanting any pipeline? Is it just the whole separatist thing? The whole they want to be their own sovereign nation and they're just being dicks about it? Is that like
Yeah.
historically? I don't know.
It's not something that I would be able to like give real. I don't, again, I've never really talked with like too many like Quebec, like directly in Quebec. Like I know lots of people have come from there and all of them are so friendly and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know, again, is it different there? And do they just not like, no, we are ourselves and we don't care about anyone else.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll do some homework for next week's pod and maybe ask Grok or Gemini. I'm like, why does Quebec not want a pipeline when it's going to benefit our country? Like, why is can you educate me historically? Why is the case? And I invite the viewers too, or the our audience too, to educate us. Why is Quebec being so like difficult? We're trying to improve our country here. Like
And that
it's like
it's
not
yeah, it's
just that
definitely
we, and it's the
it's an
black sheep
interesting
that
one.
always gives us a hard time.
Yeah, no, and that's where it's again, I would say like that's where we talk about like when we have to give money to all the different provinces, and that's where it gets hard. Again, it's hard pill to swallow when it's like, hey, like if you are holding up, again, I understand we got to share the wealth between everyone, like that's the way it works, but it's hard. And again, that's where it'd be nice to understand like why. And again, it would be better maybe if our government could be a better job explaining like, hey, this is why. Or maybe they're scared of their water source. Like again, we don't get that information ever. Now let's go into some other stuff here. This is more broader for Canada. The hub, Canada's real estate economy is costing us. What they mean is we've gradually structured in a significant portion of our economy around a sector that contributes relatively little to long run prosperity. Again, it's a boomer bust. It's like, oh, this is awesome. Everything is flowing. People are spending money. But it's like, I mean, again, everyone's like, hey, we can build. Look how big Canada is. Again, it's big, but go and try and plant a farm up in Yellowknife. Like again, like it doesn't work. And that's where like we have abundant land, but also it's a lot of land we can't build on. And so that's where when everyone says, hey, like we could just build forever, it's like, yes, but also we don't even have our population growth now. And so that's where we always go back to like, hey, the US has actually built economy. And I always say, like, hey, you actually build a business. I like to even say it for myself, like, Alex, like I have created myself a really, really good job as a mortgage broker. But it's not a business. Like if I'm not here, it doesn't run. I'm trying to get better at that and let other people like take things on. But again, real estate, it's like, hey, when real estate's booming, you could say Canada's doing amazing. But when it's not, it's like, oh shit, what else do we have to do here?
Yeah, I mean, this graph here shows what we've been long talked about, how it's been our national pastime for a long time. It's next to hockey. And some people say it's it's superseded hockey
It is
as our
wild.
number one
It's just
national
wild that
pastime.
when you talk to people, like, and I mean, I like last week, I talked to like probably five people and they were older. Like, I got to buy real estate. Like, it's like you want to retire in 5 years. Like, why are you buying an investment property? Like, this doesn't make sense.
Mm.
Real estate's the best. It's like real estate is good, but it's not the best. There's other stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're going through a kind of a down period. So, I mean, we always said too, like with any investment you buy when it's down. So, yes, confidence is low, but yeah, I mean, we're like number one in housing investment as a percentage of GDP at 8.3%. So,
Yeah.
we've long talked about, hey, when it's a bull market, it's great for you and I, our business. Like, hey, business is going great. It should be a symptom of a good economy, not based on real estate, not plop in your money and instead of building a business, you put it in for a pre-sale and hope to flip it for 150, 200 grand a couple years later, that kind of thing. It should be like a byproduct of like investment in our economy. Like, let's say, for instance, we'll talk about it later, but new businesses having contracts and then having to employ new people and hire a whole bunch of people, then that's great. That creates jobs. Those people are going to need housing. So yes, they're going to need housing for that demand, not buying it just to, launder your money from overseas.
Yeah. It's yeah. And the one thing actually I want to talk about, this is like kind of going off base, but we've talked about it before for like CMHC, which is called the MLI for building like rentals and everything. Sometimes what happens is like, hey, it's hard to build construction to get stuff done. CMHC is talking about bringing in, allowing manufactured homes. So actually building apartment buildings with manufactured homes and actually providing financing with that. And it's like, hey, at least stuff will happen faster. It's actually something to me that's like, hey, I believe we need to, even for banks and everything out there, like we need to get better at allowing people to finance manufacture things. It's like, hey, like what is the difference than this house that was built out in the rain? How can you not say that manufactured home was not built better?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're a little bit more behind when it comes to these newer technologies like container homes.
Yeah.
Like I've heard the innovation of it, and I've seen like, hey, you can buy a container home on Amazon or whatever. But especially in our world in financing, I'm like, I don't think we could do it in the broker space. I mean, I don't even know if like banks or credit unions or whoever can do it. I mean, they
I think
consider it.
well, I think it's on. I think if it's on a like once it's on, like I've done one, once it's on a foundation and everything, then you can. But again, like I get people all the time, Alex, I want to buy land and then I want to do a modular. Well, I cannot finance the modular, even though it's construction. But the way that lenders have to take out like their insurance claims is all the material has to be on the site. It all has to be on the property. That's when you're building it, where you have to give a deposit on a $300,000 modular. Well, they want 90% of that. And so like the lender can't even give that money until it's on the property. And that's where like it's a really hard spot to find. And I believe modulars are not cheaper than construction, but they can happen quicker. That's the difference here is like, hey, you can have a home built in 6 weeks compared to 6 months.
I've seen back to the container home. I've seen container homes not just as like a one flat. I've seen them stack and
Yeah.
almost have them as apartments. Now, I'm just thinking, how the hell do you have stairs inside? I'm pretty sure the stairs will have to be outside, like the old school apartments. If you're gonna have container homes that are stacked, like let's say like a low rise,
Yeah.
5, 6 story. I'm like, I don't think it'll be logistically easy to put
A
stairs
lot of them,
inside.
like a lot of the ones like they like the modulars like that and like again, I've seen like actually, I mean, China built a hospital with modulars. It's they build them inside and they connect it like Lego blocks. And
Mhm.
so it's like they're already pre-built. It's like, okay, this one's A's going here, put it on top, and the stairs, boom, you're already together.
Yeah, they'll obviously the stairs will probably have to be more of exterior, like walking up the stairs outside.
No, they're inside. They're inside the house and everything that way, like inside the modular. But again, it's like, hey, you got this part of the stairs, and then when he put it on top of it, clicks in, and then you got a full run of stairs.
Basically like Lego, right? Just like
Exactly. It is straight Lego. And so it again, I think it's something that we need to be doing better. For one, let's say if we turn on the taps for immigration again, how can we build the supply? For one, supply is not fully an issue now because there's more available. There's in Toronto, there's so much supply right now. But again, what happens if we do turn on the taps with immigration? Well, we need to be able to build stuff quickly. Our time frame, I think we talked about it last week there, Alex. It takes 5 to 6 years even to get like a tower built.
you talk about supply, but it's the right kind of supply. These high rises in the sky, they were designed for investment or Airbnb, not for people to live in long term. Like, yeah, there's a segment of population that want to live in a condo. Like if you're younger, you're single, you're a bachelor, or you don't have kids, that kind of thing. You want to live the city kind of lifestyle.
Mhm.
But most people have families. They want the missing middle, like the 1,000 to 1,200 square feet, 3 bedroom, 2 bath starter home. Like we talked about last week on the whole Steinbeck 1% down payment, that missing middle. Um, if there's lots of supply of stuff that people don't want, I mean, that's not the right kind of supply.
I mean, that's again like we need to build like 1,000 square foot again. Like that's where people can actually build families. And again, I showed a couple here today, even like it is cheaper to buy $1 million place with two rental suites in it than to go buy a $550,000 condo with mortgage, property taxes, strata, it's like $3,000 a month. With the rental income from the other one, it costs them $1,700 to live it. So it's like, well, why is someone even going to go live in that one bedroom that condo?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people don't have a choice when they can only qualify for 500, they can only get the condo, right? I think nowadays, like, people just want to get in. Like, sure, if they're going to get in, it'll just be a one bedroom, but just get in, build some equity, and then a couple years down the road, when you make more money, you pay down the mortgage, you have more equity available, then you can move on up the ladder. That's usually the way to do it.
It's just hard though, Alex, because like think of the cost of like owning, especially in your area, for a condo to renting. It's in the most cases it's cheaper to rent, and so it's like how like before it was hey buy, because sometimes it'd be like right near the same as renting, and you were paying your mortgage down, and ideally there would be some more appreciation. I think in the Vancouver, it's very unlikely over the next 3 to 4 years that it's going to keep be appreciating, and so that's where it's like again, should you just be renting for a bit?
Yeah,
But you have to be diligent. The problem is the person that doesn't own is not diligent enough, and that is the issue.
yeah, and people want that pride in ownership, and that majority of people aren't going to invest the difference of the owning versus renting. They'll just live life and blow it anyway, so they'll be not any further along in life. So all right, we kind of segue into our next little bit here. Canada's trade exports have been strong in 2026 so far. And in March, we had our first surplus since September of 2025, rising 8.5%. So you see the graph here. It's mostly thanks to oil prices and gold exports. Exports to the US rose 8.3%. Now, exports to countries that are not US rose 9.1%. Energy exports in total are up 26.6% year over year. We have metal and non-metallic mineral product exports up 69.7% year over year. And metal ores and non-metallic mineral exports up 19.4% year over year. So, hey, that's great. We're actually using our resources to help our economy. So that's a good thing here. So let's keep it going. The pipeline is the biggest thing, but you know what? We're helping with the LNG, mines and minerals and all that stuff. So
Yeah, and then again, it is. I got to do a little bit more actually digging on some of the tariff stuff there to actually go back and be like, hey, we know that the U.S. owes a bunch of money to importers and stuff there, which again be interesting to see what's going on there. And then we got this. Canada's going to start tracking temporary residents leaving Canada. Why? Because the government has no idea of how many of them are currently in the country.
oh, that's so funny.
That's so weird. Again, sometimes there's things that you should claim of like, hey, yeah, like this is, and other times it's like you probably shouldn't even say that. But like they're saying over 150,000 students just over 2 years thought to have breached their permits, and there was only enough resources to investigate 4,000 cases. And again, like, hey, this, I mean, we want to go talk about it. Like, I mean, we know like in the US, like they have a full on force that does it. Do we need to be doing that? I don't believe so. No. But again, like you go back to this, it's not. I do not blame the immigrants for what happened to Canada here. It was the government allowing so many in at one time. They could have done it at 300,000, 400,000. They kind of plan, but if you let 1 million people in at one shot, there's going to be issues.
Yeah, exactly. I was reading we don't have this on the agenda, but I was scrolling social and they were advertising that a new immigrant who came to Canada, like a graphic that shows that while you're waiting, you could always claim asylum. And during that process, here's all the benefits you'll receive: healthcare, a stipend, a monthly, whatever income or whatever, and a place to stay, max, whatever, 4 to 6 years and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's become a full on, like full on, like business model for these consultants and like
I mean, we talked about that. I mean, that we talked about that a few months ago. The consultant that got like sued and everything. And I mean, again, it's not. Do I blame the immigrants? Well, some of them are taking advantage of our system, but it's the same thing. We have people here that are taking advantage of like disability, medical, and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
but our system's just too easy to scam. So there's no like they don't care. Just claim it. And we've documented too that the immigration officers, they are strongly discouraged not to investigate because they have quotas. It's like the system was designed to fail anyway, and it wasn't helping that, like the legit people that want it to change can't, based on the parameters they're set up. So now this was actually a pretty big announcement today, that we fit in here. Airbus Canada has signed a deal to supply AirAsia with a big order of 150 of its Canadian-made A220 jets in a multi-billion-dollar coup for Quebec's aviation industry. So that's amazing.
Yep.
This agreement with the low-cost Malaysian airline marks the largest single firm order for the narrow-body planes, and they're assembled north of Montreal in Mirabel in this manufacturer's history. So that's really good news there.
Yeah, again, anything we can do here is going to boost ours, and that's where again it's just seeing more stuff happen here in Canada would be amazing.
So, but you know what? I'm going to give you a little more color behind this. Someone commented on social here that there's more behind the story than meets the eye. Of course, when they announce this, the government always pats himself on the back.
Yeah.
But this person was looking more into the research. What the announcement didn't mention was this A220 was a rebrand of the old Bombardier C series planes.
Yeah.
Since back in 2015, the Quebec government injected a lot of money into this company or into these jets.
Into Bombardier.
It was bleeding cash, and they were like, and there's a point where their investment was worth zero on the provincial financial statements. So the fact that this Airbus landed this huge thing, that's great, but it almost is like paying back the government.
Paying back the stuff.
Now we're at net zero kind of thing. So I thought that would be interesting thing to bring up, is like, yeah, but
and that's where it gets so hard of like when we talk about like different ways of, obviously, like the government needs to step in on certain things, and we sometimes complain like, hey, the government's not running, like they're not like a business. Well, also, like, I mean, in some cases they have to step in for some of these companies to even just make sure that, for one, like if they let Bombardier go under, like thousands and tens of thousands of people would have lose jobs. Like it's such a, again, I don't want to be in government because it's such a fine line. There's going to be things that like you have to do, and in your head you're like, I don't think this is right. I don't want to give $1 billion away, especially for that. I mean, it's better doing it at least in Canada than sending it elsewhere, like we've talked about. But it's hard when like, is this actually going to save anything in the future, or is it just a band-aid?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, this is good news. I mean, it was bleeding cash, and now they've landed a big contract here. So hopefully it keeps people employed, jobs, and all that stuff.
And this is a big one, and I got to do a little bit of CSI. We'll talk about this, but like, so TELUS is using AI to alter the accents of customer service agents. I mean, all honesty, they might be doing that. They also might just be using AI completely. It may not even be a real person talking, and that's like, I think I talked about it before. I did a call to Equifax. I'm 95% certain it was AI. I want to call back again and figure out and like kind of trick it and be like, what the heck is going on?
Alex, I do ask the question, why do we need to alter the accents of customer service agents? Should they already be speaking English?
Yeah, I mean, again, we know this is not like, the thing for this is like they're trying to appease people, but I mean, this has been like 20 years in the making. I mean, we have there's jokes and everything about it. Like when you call like a customer service agent, you never understand them, and it's been like a pain point for everything. But the companies don't listen ever on it. Where now they're like, ooh, we can still keep our cheap labor, and now we can do it. Which again, like, I mean, I'd be interested to know, is it working? And again, hey, who cares if they are doing that? But explain, let people know that. Again, let that be your decision. Hey, you're getting this call. You can either talk to the person in English with no AI, or have AI. And I think that's where more people are upset by, is like, hey, and again, this is the world of AI. Are you gonna know if we're adding some stuff even to our business, and we've had to make sure we change our consent forms to make sure that we're noting about if anything is done with AI and everything. And that's where in this world it's going to be hard. And some people are not going to take that compliance correctly.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of AI, I was talking with some realtors today, and they were talking about Claude. I'm like, oh yeah, hey, Claude's pretty good with this, but right now it's still has limitations where you have to coach it or you have to feed a lot of prompts to it, and it's not designed to do critical thinking. And I think it was you or someone else that mentioned it to me, like AI is not. It's kind of designed to just encourage you. Didn't you say about like it's not like if someone said they
There was there was a I was watching. It's a funny guy on TikTok, and he screws with AI, but I mean he's kind of trained his AI now, which you can train it, like you can teach it, and it's going to start. But like he catches AI and lies, like AI will lie, and again, AI is just a sort like it is not a generative, like it's not thinking for itself. It's taking a bunch of information and it can collect it super quickly. And again, you even our brains, like we get wires crossed, like that happens all the time. It's a great tool to be able to store information and pull it on quickly. It's if it's used properly, like it's an amazing thing. Instead of me having to remember, okay, what is every lender's like guideline for loan to value in Surrey, because every lender is going to be a little bit different. Boom, I just type it into there. Like that is where having that information, because it's all there, like it's going to benefit the world in some ways, and then other ways it's making us dumb.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, if you train it too good, like people don't know how to think for themselves anymore.
It's
Like,
again, I mean, it's funny. I mean, like I thought sometimes like I do like super simple math on my cat, like on a cat on your phone calculator. I was thinking like catch yourself. It's like why did I just do that on my phone? Like that, I think I can add 5 plus 5, but sometimes you just do it out of repetition. I know people that ask everything to AI. And I'm like, are you not gonna like try and figure it out in your head first? Or even like go back to Google old school, figure out like that to me is like I like AI, but like I honestly still use Google, or I'm gonna research myself myself, and then I'm gonna go to it when I have like a good idea of the answer, and it's gonna help me mesh it together.
yeah, oftentimes I use Google, which Google uses Gemini about certain things. Like, okay, I'm considering buying this car. What's the pros of this car versus this car? And based on this, and that would give me I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty good. I actually used it for more educational kind of things. I learned new things.
As long as you have an idea of what you want from it, like you have to have an idea of the answer. Again, like even I always tell people like it's a great tool for financial planning. Again, be like, hey, should I put $500 a month onto my mortgage? Should I put $500 investing? Hey, I'm a very conservative person. Like that's where it is, but you have to have like an end goal. You can't say, hey, I want you to tell me how to become a millionaire. Like that's not, it's going to give you a bunch of ideas that people have already made on YouTube to like suck money from you. It's a tool to use it to learn, like you said, Alex. But it's not going to give you all the answers.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we just want to finish off on this TELUS thing. Bell and Rogers have decided not to do that using AI to mask customer service agent accents. This is the TELUS from TELUS. They're saying it enhances spoken communication in real time by softening accents and improving clarity without altering the speaker's voice identity. I mean, TELUS union reps aren't buying it. They're just saying it is the tool to is the kind of fundamentally deceptive and mask not just accents, but the location identity of the person on the other line. I mean, yeah, it's almost like catfishing.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I
again,
know
as
it's
long as as long as you know, but I mean, like, again, this has been an issue for these like customer servants forever. Like again, like we're outsourcing that stuff, and again, the English isn't great, which is like, hey, that is the problem right there. We'll bring it back to people that can speak more clear English. I mean, it's so you hear people complain all the time. I can't even understand the bank rep. I don't even know what they're trying to tell me, which is sad for one. I mean, obviously be nice if we could all speak more languages. I think I've been using AI to actually learn some language, which I think that's cool. But again, it's I think if you have the option of, hey, just so you know, when you take this phone call, do you want AI to help on this? Well, then I'd be fine with it as long as they give people that option.
so it's kind of a. I'm going to give you a scenario, Alex. Would you rather have a live person with a pretty thick accent that you could not understand, but it's a real person, or a perfectly sounding English speaking, or Canadian English speaking, but it's an AI? Which one would you pick?
I mean, again, I mean, I always try, like, I don't really like to call the customer service reps. I try, and even before AI, like it was really big, I just try and do everything on like the chat box. I try and do everything over there. they'll sometimes be like, hey, like Microsoft or hey, can I call you? No, just tell me what we need to do on this chat box. I don't need to try and talk to you because I can't understand you.
Yeah, most of the time though, like I have to call customer service because those are the ones that I can't figure out myself, or it's like it's a specific refund that you can't, like a refund for like TELUS or something, or they overcharge me. I have to actually talk to a person, be like, hey, you're charging me for 2 days, but we were only there for 1 day, and maybe you were basing it on Eastern time zone, and we got home crossed over the border at like 9:05, and then charge, those kind of things. I need an actual person, but yeah, man, even with the AI customer service, it's not great, man. My goodness, did they give you an answer like, hey, was this helpful? I'm like, no. Get me an agent, man.
Oh, and I mean, we've I think I mean, as soon as I call something, I hit 0 instantly. Like, just I just smash that button to be like, just get me through this.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, that pretty much kind of wraps up our episode here. Alex, what do you got going on this weekend?
This is we got soccer for the kids, and then hopefully gonna try, if the weather's nice, go do some surfing behind the boat this weekend. Getting to go into the cabin and just spend some time with the family that way.
You pick up your boat already, or
I pick up the boat here on Saturday morning. So excited!
okay? So is it like a wakeboarding boat like that?
Like wakeboard, wake surf boat. It's
Yeah.
that way, and it's, I mean, it's black and yellow. I need to, we're calling it Bumblebee, and I want to get like an Autobots, like big, like actual like decal for it.
Okay, nice. I mean, you have a truck already, so you probably have to set up, like, make sure the hitch and everything, and I don't know. You're probably gonna have to practice.
You're such a city slicker.
I don't know, like, geez, my brother-in-law had a boat too for a bit, and like, geez, I don't know how it works, and like,
I have my class 1 ticket for driving, Alex. I've towed massive trailers.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's it. Yeah, we have to back up a trailer and everything that way, but that's they got cameras. That's what they're for.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, we're heading into Mother's Day weekend. By the time this,
I'm doing stuff for Mother's Day. Sunday is Mother's Day.
yes. So by the time this pod airs, Mother's Day is already passed, but just want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. You're most often the rock in our families. You do all the thing in the back end, take care of the kids, cook, manage the house, all that stuff, in a traditional setting. But you're also working mothers as well for the most part. But we just want to give all the love to you, all the props, and, enjoy your day. Yeah, I'm doing 2 things on Mother's Day. I'm doing one, with my wife's side, and then one from my side. And yeah, going into birthday week. My birthday's in 2 weeks, and my best friend's wedding's in 2 days after that.
36, 37, Alex. That's what you're turning, right?
Sure, go with that. And then yeah, it's his bachelor dinner tomorrow. So yeah, he's giving me like, I'm emceeing the wedding, so he's given me strict guidelines to keep it clean, keep it PG for the wedding part, because there's some old school people there, like from the church and everything. I'm like, okay, I can't use those stories.
Yep.
But he gave me carte blanche for tomorrow when we're out at the casino and having dinner. He's like, yeah, just go nuts. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
So
sounds like it'd be a good weekend that way.
Yeah, it'll be fun. But folks, thanks for tuning in. Make sure, again, like, share, subscribe. Let's grow our community. Let's get our YouTube up to 250. We're at 107. Our next step, let's get to 250. And we will see you next time.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure to follow us. Please give us a 5-star rating. You can even send us an email, because we want to know what you guys want to hear about. That's what we're here for. Reach out anytime.